Hello guys, welcome to a video regarding the vocabulary used most often in market profile. For future videos like these, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and keep your notifications on to be alerted to the next video. Jumping right in my profiles I have the orange lettering set as the TPOC or the time point of control. I have this gray sort of coloring of the volume profile as my volume point of control. And then these lines that I have set, these lines are my value area. This is centered around the volume value area rather than the time value area. And so this is about 1 standard deviation or 70% surrounding that volume point of control. Around the highs of a profile, you'll have the value area high or VAH. Around the lows, the value area low or VAL. Reasons for this is that usually on a balanced profile, prices below the value area are sort of seen as cheap prices that can be bought up, and then above we have expensive prices that can be sold down. The first period of the TPO, which is the A period plus the B period, equals our initial balance, our IB. Using the IB, you can sort of use it to confirm trends, where if you can hold above or hold below an initial balance, it sort of sets the mood for the day. In this case, it became a trend up, though more like a grind up for this day. We use as well importance of range, which is the entire height of the profile from the lowest low, the highest high of the day. In this case, it was 47.75 points, each letter being 1 tick, 4 letters equaling 1 point. Scrolling through, we have a closing range, which is the last 30 minutes of the session. This is equating to the fact that for most futures trading, there is a closing of cash or closing of the pit sessions, and using that last 30 minutes, in this case the M period for equities of the ES, you would use this as a guideline depending on the way that last period moved. If it shot up to discover maybe higher prices but then failed on the next following day, this can become a resistance area. If in this case sellers can hold the line or hold the M period, this can give us an idea of trending downwards, which ended up being true in this scenario. Markets go from balance, how we have a chunky profile here, into an imbalance. Once we've broken through, the market imbalanced downwards, closing at its lows, into another balance. So we go from balance to imbalance, back to balance, and we imbalance higher out of this, upwards, and we're met with some excess or a selling tail. This can give us a short-term rejection on this day, followed into the fact that some days we'll have buying tails, another short-term rejection. In this case, we're rejecting further selling, and in that case, we were rejecting further buying, which puts us into a short-term balance of that day. Breaking through this rejection area gives more strength towards sellers. We have a impulse move downwards on the overnight session, opening up the cash below. As we build out our balance, there will be areas of high volume. I have it set where the lighter the volume will get higher volume, and then the darker the volume, we get our tapering or low volume. And when we see tapers at the bottom of a profile, this is the volume view of rejection of lows. And if we get a taper volume of highs, that's the volume view of rejection of highs, of further buying. And this is a rejection of further selling. On the following day, we can see what is considered a weak low. This is when TPOs line up, and in this case, the low of the previous of that previous day lined up together with this one. This makes this an area that shows sort of weak-handed individuals, people that in the short term protected it but might not be able to hold the line in the future, and it's something you carry forward. And in this profile as well, we see another view of rejection or lack of interest of trading these prices on the TPOs. It's these single prints, and it's confirmed by our taper of dark volume. Another term you hear, aside from weak lows, this is based on levels, is poor lows. This happens on profiles that don't have any excess or have only one TPO of excess. This also is a reference of weak-handed individuals that, if challenged, will not be able to hold the prices. This can happen both on the lows or on the highs. And so it comes to our idea that with profiling, we want to have a context. Context is very important for trading. It allows us to plan for a session and understand that the people we're trading against could move markets in certain ways. There are two main participants. There's the institutions that have a sort of longer term view. And then we have our short-term participants. That includes retail traders like ourselves, as well as market makers who will utilize ranges and balance in order to trade the spread more easily. And a range doesn't only have to happen, well, range and balance doesn't have to only happen within one day. It can also happen over several days. And when we see these kind of overlaps, what can be done, especially in Sierra, is you can merge these together and you get a larger view of balance and the range highs and lows, value area highs and lows, our volume and our volume point of control and our time point of control of this cumulative. Basically just place a C in the abbreviations in front of what would be these points of interest. What we want to look into as well with volume is not just on just a short time frame of interest or rejections. We want to look for acceptance and rejections on larger profiles. So being that we finished this particular week at these lows, we have this small taper of volume down here. So if we were going to be protecting as buyers, you want to see this area protected. And for sellers, you'd want to see this larger area protected. Getting through here, you can look to target this nodes of time and volume. And if we can crash through below, we're looking at levels down here. We have this node here, these nodes there. And that's sort of the basic vocabulary regarding profiling. And we'll look to flesh out the uses of these acceptance and rejection zones in a future video. Make sure to keep your notification bell on and ensure that you join our community to discuss further with us the theories and strategies that you could utilize profiling for. Thank you, and catch us on another video.